Welcome to the Atomic Impact Podcast. I am your host, Jason Osborn, and on this podcast, we interview successful business owners for them to share atomic, impactful lessons that they've learned that we can all benefit from as well. As always, the show is sponsored by the LinkedIn Reverse Podcast Method, the new way to close deals that doesn't rely on any old traditional methods that everyone hates. We use this method to book 26 qualified leads and get sales calls in 10 days without any ad spend, outreach, or those endless social media postings that everyone hates. So to find out more, direct message me on LinkedIn to have a chat. It's Jason A. Osborn, and the link will be in the show notes below. But on today's podcast, we have Stuart Blyth. Stuart is the owner of Only Do. He's been running this for the last 11 years, where he helps companies build teams, not to be confused with team building, which I'm looking forward to understanding a little bit more here as we dive into this. But he looks at the actual strategy to build teams. So, Stuart, welcome to the show. And I want to start off by asking you a question, and it may relate to some of the stuff that you're talking about, and a little bit that we were just talking about before we started the actual podcast here. But I always like to ask this question: if you were to go back and somehow time travel, whether it's 11 years ago when you started Only Do, or maybe it was earlier in your life when maybe another business that you started, and you were able to give the younger version of yourself that may have been quite green behind the years, maybe a little bit naive in starting off a business, what's the number one piece of advice that you would give your younger self that would have saved you a lot of maybe challenges, pains, heartache as you're growing business?
Oh, that's a really good question, Jason. And firstly, thanks for having me on the podcast. Really looking forward to our chat. I guess the one thing that I would say to myself is there is no one perfect answer. And I think as entrepreneurs, we try and make everything to be perfect, and
Yeah.
perfect can sometimes get in the way of progress. So
Yeah.
don't search for perfect because it
Yeah.
exists.
Yeah. Let's dive into that then, because I think that there's gosh, we could unpack this and talk about this probably for hours, but what's if you work with teams, you work with building teams, and I think for a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners, they do look for that perfect solution. They try to find what is going to be the thing that creates the perfect outcome, and in theory it's a good idea, but in practice it never really works out that way. So what are the biggest challenges that you have found working with people in that area?
And I think that most entrepreneurs become very emotionally involved in their idea or the
Mm,
product or service they're trying to sell. And that can be a hindrance to building the business. And at the end of the day, the only thing that makes money in your business are the team.
yeah.
Products and services are actually basically irrelevant. So building the best team that you can is where the focus ought to be.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
and I know a lot of people say, hey, look, finding great talent is really hard. And that's because you don't know what you're looking for a lot of the
Mm,
time. They're too wrapped up in the day-to-day running of the business to really focus on what the important thing is.
yeah. Yeah. Interesting. What's your biggest tip then on finding the right people? When people say it's hard finding the right people, is there a secret or something you found that can really help people with that?
Well, I think our whole business is built on helping people find or put a strategy together to who they need and
Mm,
use unashamedly either elite sports coaching or theatre or music because it's all about elite performance. And
yeah.
when, if you follow any one of those things and are very passionate about it, you're interested as a consumer to have the best performance. And that's normally delivered by people. So your
Yeah.
customers in your business are looking for the same.
Okay.
So in your business, we always say to our customers, who would be, if you could hire anybody on the planet to come into your business, who would it be? Because that's going to make that person is going to make the difference.
Mm,
That one person coming in upskills and uprates your whole business. So who would
yeah.
that person be? And most people don't know who that is because they haven't
Yeah.
they don't look at it in those terms. But if you go to any, if you're a sports fan, you go to any head coach and ask them who they would like to bring into their team for this season, you would expect two or three names to come out. And as a
Yeah.
fan, you'd have two or three names as well. And it's
Yeah.
in that mentality into the business mind. Hey, I need Jason in my team. Why do you need Jason? He's brilliant at all of these things and he solves
Mm.
all these problems for me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Having
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
clarity as a strategy. And once you have Jason, who's the next one? And building it in that way. And that's how it differentiates really from team building.
Yeah.
Because team building, you see a lot of things about, hey, we went out for a great team building day. Yeah, we had a great time, but how does that work in practice? How's that going to
Mm.
make your business better? Yeah, everybody had a
Yeah.
great day out. So what?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's great, great advice. One of the things that I've often heard from people talking around this subject, and I'd love to hear your input on this, is the idea of that. Like you said, like if you ask a coach who their ideal person would be to bring in, if we look at it from that approach in a business, the I think hindrance oftentimes for a lot of people is, yeah, but they cost a lot more. Can we get someone in that can do the same thing but for cheaper? Right. So
Hmm.
I can tell by the smile on your face, you know exactly where I'm going with this. So talk to me about that. What are the pitfalls of thinking that way?
So you know, we come across that a lot, and so one of the things that we like to do is we like to devolve, if you like, the hiring of Jason into the team to the team that he's going to work for. Okay, because if you're going to go into a team, you want to know the personalities and everything else that goes with it, so that everyone can be successful. Okay,
Yeah.
and once they've decided that Jason is the man to come in, you then give the team leader or the director the budget question.
Yeah.
This is the budget for hiring Jason. And as you say, you know, Jason may be 20 or 30,000 pounds more a year to hire,
Yeah.
but give them the conundrum of how do you square that circle? Go back to the person who holds the budget and say, hey, look, we want Jason, but he's more expensive than the budget. And typically the answer is, well, who's your second choice? Okay.
Mm.
And the
Yeah.
team go, why would we hire our second choice?
Yeah.
Jason is the man who's going to come in and make all of these differences. Our second choice is only going to get us 50% of the way there.
Yeah.
And the difference sometimes isn't that much.
Yeah.
And it's putting it in that context. Why would we hire second best?
Yeah.
You end up with a
Yeah.
second best solution. Not saying that the other candidate's not a great candidate. They're just not right for this situation.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's some great advice. It's about perspective, isn't it? Just looking at it from a different way.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
there's no right or wrong answer. It's what is right for that team and that business.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. I love that. Another question is I like asking this question as well, Stuart. It's a little bit of a different angle to this. And I find I'm always interested it's interesting to see what people respond to this. So if we take away the answer you asked to the first question, we look at it from a different perspective. What's the biggest challenge that you've had in your business that ended up being the a secret success outcome, right? Like even though you're like, oh my God, this is horrible. I never want to go through it again, but actually ended up being the biggest blessing in disguise. And what did you learn from that?
Okay. Well, I think that our business is in a very crowded marketplace. Okay. And
Yeah.
you're always fighting for brain space or mind space in your potential clients. And you
Hmm.
have to go through the pain of trying to differentiate what you do that sets you apart. And we spent years trying to sell the same old stuff and competing with all the other consultancies that had lots and lots of track record and referenceability. And you come to a point where you go, this isn't working. We have a great thing that we're offering. How do we reposition it? And so
Yeah.
essentially, we kind of now position ourselves as an entertainment company, rather
Okay.
than a team strategy, team building consulting company, because people learn better when they're entertained.
Yeah.
And the way in which we entertain people and educate them is unique. And it
Yeah.
and if we hadn't gone through the pain of trying to compete on everyone else's level, we wouldn't have come out with this idea.
Mm.
Because if somebody says, "What do you do?" and I say we're an entertainment company, they immediately go, "What's that about?" And they're open to suggestions.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that. I love that. And it's something that I'm always speaking with my clients on about as well, is how you're positioning yourself in the marketplace. And even the way that I introduced you, because this is, you sent this over to me, it's not team building, and I think people automatically just make that assumption. They put you in a box. Okay, we already know what you do. And then you're fighting an uphill battle, aren't you?
Correct, correct. And so since we flipped the switch about 18 months ago,
Yeah.
it's a lot more fun. I mean, you're in business to have fun, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And so entertaining people is a lot more fun than educating them. Who
yeah,
wants to look at a PowerPoint? Nobody. Who wants to sit down and play a board game and work with ex-professional athletes who've been Olympic gold medalists all day? Because they'll tell you what teamwork's about,
yeah,
right? If if
yeah,
if if they've won the Premier League or they've won a World Cup medal, they'll tell you what it takes to be in a great team.
yeah,
Don't
yeah,
need me
yeah.
to, don't need me to tell you. Listen to these guys and girls.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. Well, what's your goals over the next, let's say, 12 months? What are your goals in your business? What are you looking to achieve?
So we are looking to expand our business overseas, and we have some
Okay.
projects lining up in the GCC in the Middle East, where we're actually putting together a Legends football tour.
Okay, nice.
And we're taking ex-legends from England and Brazil on a tour of the Middle East, where we're going to do lots of charity matches and all that sort of stuff. But intertwined with that is the educational piece.
Yeah.
So people want to associate with celebrity. They want to get close to them. They want to understand. They want to live with them and do this. And the thing that I'm really excited about in this project that we're running is the opportunity to play on the pitch.
Hmm.
You can bid to play on the pitch with these guys, and that's
Yeah.
going to be fascinating to see how that plays out.
Yeah, yeah. That's amazing. That's really exciting. Nice. So you're working on all that and putting that together to launch that out.
Yeah, and the other things that we do in the UK, we run the Dream Team Experience Days. So bring your company or a group of companies to a great venue, and we'll get some ex-professional athletes in. Then we'll tell you what it means to build a great team. We'll
Yeah.
set you on that path to who needs to be the next person in. And one of the interesting things is that once people think they have a great team, and you ask them who's next, less than 1% of the people choose a coach.
Hmm.
They always choose another
Interesting.
player.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, well, why would you do that? You've got this team and you think they're going to deliver the next level in business excellence for you. What
Yeah.
you really need is coaching. They don't need someone else to come in and mess up the system.
Yeah.
Coaching them to outperform what you think they're going to do is the next logical step.
Yeah.
Because we know whether they're sports people, musicians, or actors, they're all being coached every day
Hmm.
to perform. Why are
Yeah.
we not coaching out great employees to perform as well?
Yeah, I think that's really powerful. Man, that's amazing, man. Really, really good. Like, we could talk about this forever. I just looked down at the time here and I was like, oh my God, we're at the end of the
Where's it
15
gone?
minutes already. I know. So much great, great stuff in here. A lot of pearls of wisdom. I know that all the listeners will really benefit from as well. So on that, Stuart, I just want to thank you so much for being on the show and just imparting some of your wisdom and thoughts over the years that you've been in business, particularly over the last 11 that you've been in your company there. If anyone wants to know more about what Stuart does, you can go to Only Do and have a look at what they do and reach out to them there as well. But yeah, thank you again, Stuart, for being on the show. And as a reminder, this show is sponsored by the LinkedIn Reverse Podcast Method, the new way to close deals that doesn't rely on any of the old traditional methods that everyone hates. To find out more, direct message me on LinkedIn and we can have a chat there. So wonderful, Stuart. Thanks again, and I wish you all the best. Cheers.
Thanks, Jason.